how did you get attention as an indie writer though? So is Lou Iovino, you yourself and
Yeah.
Lou, how did you do it? How did you break through the clutter? Something like 100,000 plus titles are published every year, self-published. And even speculative fiction, science fiction, fantasy is super, super crowded.
Yeah. So I did a couple things. One, I'm fortunate because uh, I'm able to work with some really good partners. So the first thing I did after completing my first novel is I thought, you know what, in order to like stand out, I really need a great editor. I need an editor that's going to challenge me and somebody who works with the type of writers that I admire. So oddly enough, I was, again, back to Hugh Howey. I was listening to a podcast that he did, and he mentioned that, for the Silo trilogy, he had this fantastic writer who always challenged him, and he was wonderful. And he even said that if, people want to know who he is or what he's about, you can look on my website. Well, a podcast was like 7 years old by the time I found it. So I go to Hugh's website, and there's no information on the editor. He's gone to the passage of time. So I went back in the Wayback Machine, and I found an early version of Hugh's website that actually had the guy's email address on
Look
it.
at you doing the ad agency chops. We used to do that all the time for clients, right? Good for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, so I found him. His name is David Gatewood.
Yeah. So you found the editor.
Yeah, his name is David Gatewood. I found him. I reached out to him. I had to audition with him because he said, obviously he's a top guy. He works with Hugh and people like A.G. Riddle. Like, he works with some of the top names in sci-fi. So I had to audition with him, and which meant send him some of my writing. He would decide whether or not it was something he wanted to work on. Because can you imagine being an editor getting handed schlock? Like, you don't want to be that kind of work with that kind of a client. So luckily I passed the test, and David's been my editor ever since. I mean, the 4 books that I put out. So I worked with him, and then I hired like a really great cover designer, one of the top folks that work in sci-fi. So I produced a top-notch product, and I think that's got to be one of the first steps. Is if you want to compete with traditionally published sci-fi authors and books, yours has got to compete just literally on the substance, the actual physical product that you put out into the world. So that was step one. And then step two is, I tapped into my marketing chops. I did the free giveaways that you do. I ran Facebook ads and Instagram ads and BookBub ads. And, slowly over time, it just started. I got to the point where it was almost like a zero-sum game. If I would spend $10 a day on advertising, I would generate about $10 in book sales, and I'd up it to 20, and I'd sell $20. Like the ads started paying for themselves in the books, so that I just, like, slowly over the years, as I was working on subsequent stories, I kept it up, and over time I grew a little readership. And I still do that today. It's changing a little bit, with Meta and AI. It's affecting it a little bit, but that's how I've done it thus far. So again, I'm very fortunate because I'm in a position where I can afford to do something like that. Where not a lot of writers are in that position. Dropping a few $1,000s on an editor is just out of the scope for some writers.
Yeah,
so they have to rely on other means.
Ego.
I was fortunate; I didn't need to do.
There's the ego challenge beyond just the financial one. Just speaking for myself, I felt that I just wanted to do it. So I did not use an editor. I had my niece do the cover. And I just wanted it like Burger King. I wanted this bad boy to be all me. And I have no regrets. I love the book that I created. And to your point, I didn't have to wait years to tease and negotiate with an agent who would then tease and negotiate with a publisher, and then all the iterations until it finally sees the light of day. And I would feel that the book would probably be unrecognizable to me at that point. So I just felt that writing is equivalent to publishing, and that you're just doing it. And, have I made an impact? Yeah. Well, it's all relative, But I would, at least at this point, not have it any other way. I just want it to be my baby.